Hare Krishna. So, in the last session, we have discussed the first four verses of Gajendra Moksha. Today, we will continue and we will discuss the fifth to eighth. So, in the first four verses, we have seen how Gajendra, who was held in the jaws of the crocodile, was calling out to the Lord in pain. Whenever a person is in utter pain, when they mull over the origin, one's own origin, it gives a very clear perspective of one's position, and connecting to that origin gives solace. There is a saying that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Oftentimes, no one is free from being subjected to pain now that we are in the material world. So this pain is inevitable, and different circumstances of life also place us in situations where we come in contact with pain at different degrees. Sometimes it is less, sometimes it is more, sometimes we are aware, sometimes it's just pushed behind and we don't bring it to our awareness. But pain is a constant. Yeah. And there is also something called an existential grief. This is what Her Grace Sukha Mataji often tells us. Yeah. For a living entity who's actually a resident of the spiritual world, for them to come to the material world is actually a great pain. Yeah, it's called the existential grief, which is deep within one's own existence. And that grief is covered over by many layers of ego and different subtle coverings, subtle layers. So the living entity is forgetful of that pain in normal circumstances. But when they face difficult situations or very harsh situations like the loss of a loved one, these are very deeply painful situations of material existence. Yeah, loss of a loved one or broken love, broken heart, frustrated love. These are all deep miseries. So when a person gets into that state of deep grief, actually the universe makes way to connect to that existential grief. Yeah, sometimes it's so difficult to console people going through this episode of acute grief and pain. So why is it so? Because they're connecting to that existential grief. So pain is a reality of this material world. But yes, so does that mean we continue to be in pain or cover up our pain with temporary relief systems? No, there's a solution. And seeking that solution is the mission of human life. Yeah. So Gajendra, caught in the jaws of the crocodile for 10,000 years. It was a humiliating experience. Yeah, right in front of his family members and who had so much faith in him, his own children, his own subjects who feared him, who looked up to him as the controller. Yeah, he was failing in front of all of them. It was a humiliating situation. Nor did he get any support from anyone or anything. And years, 10,000, not normal years, celestial years have passed. And he was still stuck in the same position. Yes. So the acharyas say that this crocodile actually signifies Maya. And every living entity existing in this pool of material world is stuck in the jaws of crocodile, which is Maya. And when does it leave? In fact, it never leaves. We keep thinking that, yes, Maya will let go of me. Now I've become a devotee. Yeah, maybe now. Yeah, but we remain in the jaws of Maya, and it continues. It continues until the point of total surrender, not ordinary surrender, total surrender, Purna Sharanagati. Yeah, not something superficial that, yes, Krishna, you're there, I'm surrendering to you. Because 18.66 verse says, Sarva Dharmam Parityajya. I surrender to you, Krishna. It's not that simple. Yeah. Surrender is very deep subject matter. Yeah. It's a state of consciousness attained with a lot of purification. So in that surrender, when Gajendra is called out to the Lord mercifully reciprocated. Even before he had come personally, the Lord reciprocated by giving him the remembrance of the past life. And that's when he started offering these beautiful prayers. So oftentimes we think the Lord has come only when he's physically present. No, the Lord's mercy is working in many ways. So it is not that Lord Krishna has come to Draupadi only when she called out to me and he gave the sari. No, he was very much there with Draupadi all through her pain. And he was reciprocating with her in various other ways. And in a very visible way, we can see that he has reciprocated by giving the sari at that time of need. So we will all ask, where was Krishna? He was manifest, and his mercy was operating in various other ways. So Gajendra, the Lord already reciprocated by giving him the remembrance of his past life, and where he recalled the verses that he recited, and he was offering the similar prayers. And he addressed the Lord as, "Oh Lord, you are the origin of this universe." Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yatayet Chidatmakam. Yeah. He understood that beyond this body that is suffering this massive pain, is that spirit soul, which is actually you. Yatayet Chidatmakam. Chit. You are the Chit Kana. You are that living force, that is making this body, which is dead matter, alive. So Gajendra recognized that source. Yeah, and he glorified the Lord as he is that source of this entire existence. And by his mercy, the universe manifests and unmanifests. And even when everything remains in darkness, oh my dear Lord, you continue to be there. So you are that constant. Other manifestations are temporary. This is what we learned last session. So today we will go to the verse number 5. Sneha, you have a question? You have a hand raised.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question what I understood is, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, I'm just trying to correct myself. Until and unless you get purified fully, like the consciousness becomes pure, we cannot surrender. It's not like, as you said, it should come from inside. It's not like just telling like I surrender and it happens. It's not like that. It should come from inside. That happens only after full purification. You can fully surrender. That's what you mean, Mataji?
Yes, Sneha, that's a good question. So surrender is a process. It's a process. There are various ways of looking at the aspect of surrender. One devotee asked Prabhupada, how long does it take to completely surrender to Krishna? And Prabhupada said, 1 moment. Remember that, right? 1 moment. So it can sound as simple as that, but to get to that consciousnness of that 1 moment, it takes lifetimes of journey. Yes. So it's like there are various ways of, it's a gradual process. Like, for example, at our level as sadhakas, surrender can be expressed by our obedience to the instructions of our teachers, our mentors, our guru. Even that's an expression of a surrender. Every day I'm chanting a regular prescribed number of rounds. I'm following the 4 regulative principles. I'm trying to practice the principles of Vaishnavism that have been recommended by my spiritual teachers. That is an expression of a surrender at our level. Yes. So anukulyasya sankalpam pratikulyasya varjanam. Rakshayati iti visva. So there are 6 items of surrender, starting with accepting those things that are favorable for Krishna consciousness or my spiritual life, and rejecting those things, pratikulyasya varjitam, that are not favorable. Even this is surrender. Yeah, it takes a lot of control over one's mind to actually do that. So that's an expression of surrender at our level. And this process will take us there to the point of completely surrendering oneself. Yes, I hope that answers. Okay, very good. So now let us delve into this beautiful verses. Today's verses are amazing, ecstatic. They speak about such amazing attributes of Lord. So let's delve into it without any delay. So in this verse, Gajendra is addressing the Lord as the inconceivable person. Yeah, one who is not understood by ordinary intelligence. Yeah, let us see this. Recite this beautiful verse. Okay, now I have to share it. Yeah. You can see this on the screen. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, verse number 6. Na yasya deva rishayak padam vidur jantu punah korhati gantu miritum yatha natasya kritibhir vicheshtato dudatyayanukramana samavatu. Gajendra is offering this prayer. An artist on stage being covered by attractive dresses and dancing with different movements is not understood by his audience. Similarly, the activities and features of the supreme artist cannot be understood even by the demigods or great sages, and certainly not by those who are unintelligent like animals. Neither the demigods and sages nor the unintelligent can understand the features of the Lord, nor can they express in words his actual position. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead give me protection. So, here in this helpless state, Gajendra is begging for protection from the Lord, having addressed him as the inconceivable, the one who could not be understood by even sages, great demigods. Yeah, so even they cannot understand you, O Krishna, then what to speak of an unintelligent animal like me? So Gajendra is in the body of an elephant. An animal is considered to be unintelligent. Yeah. So Queen Kunti offers the similar prayer. Yeah. Tha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanatam katham pashe mahistriyah. Oh Krishna, you're inconceivable. You cannot be understood by an ordinary person. Why? You're covered by the veil of Maya. Just like, curtain is covering a window, you cannot see outside. So this Maya is covering like a curtain. Queen Kunti calls it like Javani. Maya Javani Kachannam. Yeah, Ajnanud Adokshajam Avyayam. Yeah. So because of Maya, which is covering like a veil, like a curtain, we cannot truly understand or conceive who is God. Yeah. We can hear about him, talk about him, read about him, speak about him, think about him, but to actually know him, to actually realize him, that takes simply the mercy of the Lord. So Queen Kunti is praying, Paramahamsana, great Paramahamsas, Munis, Amalatma, those who are completely purified at heart, yeah, who have realized you through rigorous process of bhakti yoga. Yeah, you are that inconceivable person. Katham pashyema histriya, I am an ordinary, small, a simple housewife, lady. How can I understand you, O Krishna? So immediately in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that this is the qualification. This is the qualification. The qualification is to humbly submit oneself, expressing one's position. Humility is nothing. Humility is being honest about oneself. It's a very unique quality, especially it's the heart of Vaishnavism. Yeah. Humility is really the heart of Vaishnavism. It's a quality that the moment you think you have it, you have lost it. Yeah. Very, very subtle quality, very deep quality. Yeah. So when you truly have that, that's when you begin to understand about God. That's why Queen Kunti also says that, "Oh Krishna, tvam akinchana gocharam." You are conceived by akinchanas. Akinchanas is who are materially exhausted. Those who are not proud of their lineage or education or birth or possessions. They cannot understand you. Janmaishwarya Shrutashri Bhir Yedamana Madakpuman Naivarhati Abhidatum by Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. So again, Queen Kunti's prayer. Naivarhati, those who are maddened by pride and arrogance because of their Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta and Shri, because of their birth, because of their wealth, and or their learned scholarliness, or Shri, fortune. Now, who are proud because of these possessions. Naivarhati, they're not qualified to understand. Why? Tvam akinchana gochara. You are conceived or approached by who are materially exhausted. This is Queen Kunti's prayers. So this is the inconceivable nature of the Lord. He cannot be accessed through material intelligence. So this is coming to intelligence. The world currently is in so much of chaos because in the name of religion, so many wars are fought. And what is the root cause of this wars and sectarianism? Because people who have half-baked knowledge about spirituality, they try to control God through their intelligence, saying that my conception of God is right and your conception is wrong. Yeah. And God has to fit into my conception alone. He cannot fit into anyone else's conception. If you're conceiving God in a way different than me, then I will harm you. Yeah. So this is bewilderment that comes because of being carried away by one's lower nature of controllership. And projecting, worse still is projecting that on God. So that's the current cause. If you go to the deep-rooted causes of most of the chaos over the period, over centuries, it's because of this. Yeah. To impose one's intellectual abilities and controllership on understanding God and religion. So the truth is, God is inconceivable. Achintya. Yeah. Achintya. Achintya means Krishna is inconceivable. So how Krishna himself is telling the process of how to know him. Yeah. My dear child, you want to know me? Fine. There is a process. What is the process? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevai. Yeah. Go to a person who has already realized the truth. Yeah. And pranipatena. Humbly submit to that person. Pariprashna. Inquire with humility. Then you will know me. So Krishna is giving this process. Yeah. And one who follows the process gets there. One who speculates, bahunam nam janmanam ante, they pass through different bodies for a different number of, n number of lifetimes, endless, until they come to the conclusion that Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So this journey continues, until one humbly approaches a spiritual master with humility to reveal, to understand who is God. So I will just share some small examples from our scriptures, how God is inconceivable. Recently, we have celebrated Nityananda Trayodashi. Yeah, the Chaitanya Bhagavat explains a beautiful pastime. That there is a great Vaishnava who traveled all the way from Bengal to Puri to meet Lord Chaitanya. So why did he travel? Because he wanted to complain. And he wanted to complain about whom? Lord Nityananda. He couldn't fathom the activities of Nityananda. Who is this Nityananda? He's an Avadhut. He speaks about great spiritual subject matters and renunciation, but he walks around in such an opulent way. He's wearing such heavy jewelry, all with stone studded, and he wears a very costly turban, and he's just walking around the streets of Nadia, and he sometimes enters into liquor shops. Yeah, and recently, Shivananda Sen, who has done so much of service to him, a grihastha who's organized yatras to bring devotees to different tirthastalis, he has kicked him on his chest. It was too much for him to take. So, he sometimes we don't understand some activities of some devotees. Yeah, so it is not something new. It's coming from ages. Yeah. So this Vaishnava traveled all the way from Bengal to Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he met Mahaprabhu and said, Mahaprabhu, there's something I need to discuss. So this is what Nityananda Prabhu is doing. This is how he dresses up. And these are his activities. Yeah. How do I absorb this? So when he was narrating, this is what Nityananda Prabhu is doing, Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. Oh, wow. Is that so? Is that so? He was in ecstasy remembering Nityananda Prabhu. So only Krishna, Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and Nityananda, Balarama Hoilo Nitai, and Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. So he's non-different. So only God can understand God. So only Mahaprabhu can understand Nityananda Prabhu. And that's why he was in ecstasy. But this Vaishnav, he was quite a advanced Vaishnav, but he was totally bewildered, unable to understand who was Nityananda. So Mahaprabhu told, my dear Prabhu, the ornaments that Nityananda Prabhu is wearing, each of this ornament signifies the 9 process of devotional service. Every inch of him, every bit of him is a manifestation of his pure, unalloyed, loving devotional service to me. Do not be bewildered. One cannot understand with one's intelligence about the nature of the Lord. Yeah. So similarly, when we see when Queen Kunti, I explained that in her verses, she eloquently speaks about the glories of Lord Krishna, because Krishna gave her that intelligence to understand him. In the Mahabharata, it is said that 2 ladies truly understood the nature of Krishna. One is Queen Kunti and the other is Draupadi. It's only both of them who truly understood Krishna. And even towards the end of Mahabharata, after the war, when Lord Krishna, all the way from Hastinapur, he suggested the Pandavas to go to Kurukshetra and meet Bhishma Pitamaha to hear the lessons on governance. Yeah. So Krishna is the source of all knowledge. Yeah. He's himself with the Pandavas. But he was telling that, you have to be educated by Bhishma. So let us go and see him. So this is the nature of Krishna. He always wants to give the credit to his devotees, more than him being worshipped. So he takes the Pandavas and all the way, to the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where the war is over. And Bhishma Pitamaha is still lying on the bed of arrows. So when Bhishma Pitamaha was questioned by Yudhishthir Maharaj, he begins by glorifying Lord Krishna. And he said that, Aho Kashtam, what difficulties the Pandavas have gone through, despite the fact that, they are not ordinary souls. Imagine like the other people, generally everybody's in this material world, they suffer because of past karmas. the reactions to past karma. But who are the Pandavas? Yeah, Yudhishthir Maharaj is dharma personified. They are not subjected to, some kind of past karmic reactions that they had to suffer from what they had suffered. In fact, Draupadi, when she was insulted, and she was expressing her agony to Krishna, she says that I am not an ordinary mortal. My birth is pure. She's born from the fire, but she had to go through so much. Yeah, so Bhishma Dev is telling that aho kashtam, aho anyayam, what the Pandavas have gone through, despite being the fact that they have pure backgrounds and they are, guided by the Lord, Supreme Lord himself. See, Lord Krishna is their constant companion, their guide and their philosopher all through. But despite the fact that Krishna was with them and guiding them, they went through so much of trauma that is unheard of in the history. Anyayam, it is injustice. So how do we explain that? So Bhishma Dev says, no one can understand the plans of the Lord. It is simply inconceivable. It's simply inconceivable. So this is the inconceivable nature of God. So we cannot understand God by our own intelligence. We can understand simply when he chooses to reveal himself to us. So we will go to the next verse, this which glorifies the lotus feet of the Lord, which we were singing about today. दिदृक्षवो यस्य पदं सुमङ्गलं विमुक्तसङ्गामुनयस्सु साधव चरन्त्यलोकव्रतमवृणं वने भूतात्मभूता सुहृदः समे गतिः. Renunciates and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, desire to see the all-auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that same Supreme Personality of Godhead be my destination. Yeah, so here Gajendra is saying that, after having spoken about the inconceivable nature of God, that you're not understood by great sages and demigods, and what to speak of ordinary, unintelligent animal like me. He's saying that these great people, who bhutatma bhutaha. Bhutatma bhuta means those who are equal to all living entities. That is, this stage is attained at a very advanced level of spirituality. Yeah, samasarveshu bhuteshu. Yeah. We hear this in this Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu. Those who have an equal vision of all living entities. That means they don't show any disparity between an ant, an elephant, a human, or a chandala, or a dog. Why? Because they're seeing the soul in all these, inside all these bodies. Yeah, so these are bhutatma bhutaha, very advanced souls. Yeah, for us it may be a conception, but for the advanced soul, it is a realization. Yeah, there's a difference between conception and realization. Like, for example, we may think that, yes, we are devotees, that, we understand that manmana bhava, that is the final goal, is to worship the lotus feet of Krishna, to always think of Krishna, to always remember Krishna. I know all this, and I'm even practicing this. So we might be sometimes feeling proud that we are better off than many people. Yeah. So, but there is a difference between having a conception and having a realization. It is like having a glass of water in your hand and actually drinking it. Yeah. So we may have a conception of what the ultimate truth is, but to actually live it, it takes mercy to get into that state of being. So these are Brahma Bhuta, Bhutatma Bhuta. Yeah, Bhutatma Bhuta. They're equal to all living beings. And Suhruda. Suhruda means those who are friends to everyone. So what are all these people doing? Susadhava, the beautiful Vimukta Sangha, Munaya Susadhava. Vimukta Sangha means those who are freed from all these distractions of material life. They are called Vimukta Sangha. They're done with it. In other words, they're like the Akinchanas. Yeah. Munayaha. Yeah, Munaya means great sages. Yeah. Did anybody think of what is the difference between a Muni, Rishi, and Acharya and Avadhuta? We often hear these words many a times, right? Why is Narada called Muni? Why is Vatsayana, sage Vatsayana is also called a Muni? And who is a Rishi? And who is an Acharya? And who is an Avadhuta? What are the difference between these four?
I've written that question, Mataji.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just now.
Oh, okay.
Because we are supposed to ask questions end of the session.
Oh, so sweet. So Muni is somebody who's deeply absorbed in one single subject matter. That is why Narada is also called a Muni and Vatsayana is also called Muni. Vatsayana is a compiler of Kama Sutra. Yeah. So he's also called Muni. Why? His absorption is completely on the subject matter of Kama or lust. Or, that in a sacred way. And Narada, his complete absorption is in pure devotional service. That is why they're called Munis. Yeah. So Acharyas, Rishis are those who are enlightened. Yeah. And Acharyas are those who show by example. And that is why we call Srila Prabhupada as Acharya. Acharya means one who shows or preaches by example. This is how you're supposed to do. So they're very perfectly fixed and they live what they teach. And who is an Avadhut? Avadhut is like Nityananda Prabhu. Yeah, we cannot understand them. Yeah, Avadhuta is somebody who is beyond our conception. They don't fit into our judgments. They don't fit into our calculations. So Nityananda Prabhu, he is free. He could slap the crocodile and make them chant Hare Krishna. We can't follow them. Basically, we can't follow Avadhutas. If we follow Avadhutas, we are doomed. Yeah. So we have to follow Acharyas, not the Avadhutas. So these are some differences. So here Gajendra is saying that Vimukta Sangha Munaya Susadhavaha. Sadhava is sadhus, and in that Susadhava means highly elevated in spiritual consciousness. So Vimukta Sangha Munaya Susadhava Charantya Lokavratam Avrinam Vane. That means those who are following strict vows of brahmacharya and avrinam. Avrinam means without any fault. Going about the forests, renouncing the material ways of life. So all these people, what they're doing, they're desiring to see your lotus feet. So all these people, Vimukta Sangha, Munaya, Susadava, Charantya Loka Vritam Avrinam Vanen, Bhutatma Bhutaha, Suhruda, all these entities, all this great personality, they're all desiring to see the all auspicious lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So this is what we were singing. Ekona Bhujenu Prabhu Tomara Charana. Yeah. Jepada Paya Siva Shivatva Lobhiya. Having obtained his lotus feet, Lord Shiva has obtained his Shivatva or auspiciousness. Yeah. Jepada Paya Brahma Kritatta Hoila. Then those lotus feet, having attained those lotus feet, Lord Brahma became successful in his mission. Yeah. Jayprada Narada Muni Hrudaye Dhurila, those lotus feet which were kept deep within the heart of Narada Muni. So those lotus feet I worship. Yeah, those lotus feet I worship. So Gajendra is saying that those lotus feet which are searched after and worshipped by great souls. Even the gopis in Gopi Gita, they glorify the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Yeah. They were so worried that, oh Krishna, when you're walking in the forest of Braj, the very thought of your lotus feet being pricked by, straw or grass or pebble, that brings in intense pain in us, even the thought. So that's their attachment, that intense attachment to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, which are worshipped so deeply, so dearly. Yeah. So Gajendra is saying, I surrender. May those lotus feet give me protection. The next two verses. So these are nice, beautiful prayers to memorize and make it a part of our daily sadhana. They bring a lot of juice into our own chanting and connection with the Lord. Yeah. So here, now the beauty of, again, I came to Japa, so here's something about the name, Nama Rupa. न विद्यते यस्य च जन्म कर्म वा न नाम रूपे गुणदोष एव वा तथापि लोकाप्यय संभवाय स्वमायया तान्यनुकालमृच्छति तस्मै नमः परेशाय ब्रह्मणेऽनन्तशक्तये आरूपायोरुरूपाय नम आश्चर्यकर्मणे. So translation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or faults. To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of a human being like Lord Rama or Lord Krishna by his original internal potency. He has immense potency and in various forms, all free from material contamination. He acts wonderfully. He is therefore the Supreme Brahman. I offer my respects to him. So Gajendra is going deeper and deeper into the glorification of the Lord. He's touching upon the personal attributes. He initially glorified him as the origin, the inconceivable, his origin and the one who is eternal, eternally existing, not subject to the changes of time. And then he glorified him as the inconceivable personality. And then he slowly came to the point of saying that, those who, they are all great souls, search after your lotus feet. May those lotus feet give me protection. And now he's entering into more personal attributes. See, this is the approach. This is the approach. Now, from near to far, from concrete to abstract. So now he is glorifying the name, form, and pastimes. He's saying the name and form are non-material. Yeah, there's some beautiful words. In Bhagavatam, each word is a seed of bhakti. This is what my Guru Maharaj says. Each word of every verse is so potent. Yeah, and every word in itself has a seed of pure devotional service in it. Yeah, that is why Bhagavatam is just meant to be relished. Yeah, not perhaps analytically understand. Or yes, of course you can do that, but it has to be relished. So pibata bhagavata rasamalayam. What do you do with Bhagavatam? You just drink it. Why? It's the juice, nectarian juice. Yeah. So na vidyate yasya cha janma karma va nanama rupe gunadosha eva va. So Krishna has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities. Yes, Krishna's name is not material. If it were to be something material, it would not have had the potency to liberate us just by chanting it. Yeah. Simply by chanting the names of Lord Krishna, one is liberated from the clutches of material existence. How do you explain it? How do you explain it by any material phenomenon? You can't explain it. That is what is achintya. Achintya. We say it is spiritual. How do you explain it? We can't. Golokera premadhana harinama sankirtan. It has come from the spiritual world, the same sound vibration. I am muttering the same tongue, but I chant Hari, I chant Hare Krishna. That sound vibration will liberate me. But with the same tongue, I produce another sound that makes no sense, or it can even bind me. How do you explain it? By any material laws? We can't. So that is why it is achintya. Again, coming back to the inconceivable nature of Krishna. Yeah, so the Supreme Personality of God has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or faults. Yeah. So, and he has no reason why he has to come to this material world. But he only comes to deliver, to fulfill a purpose. So last week we were discussing how he came as Buddha. There is a purpose. And after that, he has sent Lord Shiva as Adi Shankaracharya to fulfill a purpose. Then came Ramanujacharya, who has propounded the Vishishtadvaita. Yeah, another purpose fulfilled. Then he sent Madhvacharya. Yeah, and he spoke about dualism. Yeah, the Dvaitavad. And then finally, he himself came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to bring a conglomeration of all the philosophies and gave the Achintya Veda Tattva, a simultaneous oneness and difference. There's a purpose. Yeah, he has a mission because of which he descends. We're going to celebrate Gaura Purnima in just a few days. So it's a good meditation, and there is in the first Adikanda of Chaitanya Charitamrita beautiful explains the internal and external reasons of the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, so he comes in the form of a human by his own swamayaya, by his own internal potency. Yeah, it is not. See, we all come into this material body because we are driven by karma. We are forced to take birth. We are forced to take a body. But when the Lord descends, that's how his birth is different from the humans. He comes by Atma Mayaya, Swamayaya, out of his own free will, out of his own internal potency. Yeah, he descends. Yeah, we are not descending. We are forced to take a material body, but the Lord descends. That is what is Janma Karitmachame Divyam. The Lord's descent is Divyam. It is divine. It is transcendental. Yeah. And just by knowing that it is divine and transcendental, yo vekti sattvata, tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mami. Just by understanding that tattva, by after leaving this material body, there is no birth. So an understanding, a conception can actually liberate us. So this is the subject matter of God. It's powerful. It's powerful if we truly understand what it is. It's not just some words appearing on the pages. It's fully charged. It's charged with spiritual potency if we know how to access it. And how to approach it. So this is Gajendra. It took him that deep surrender and pain to actually enter into that realm. And he utilized, oftentimes it all starts with pain. Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Interestingly, first chapter, Vishada Yoga. We all heard of yoga, but Arjuna had Vishada Yoga. Vishada means grief. And he made his grief and pain into a yoga, a means to connect to Krishna. Not to get depressed and while away time or seek some temporary relief systems like watching a movie or hanging out with friends, or some people also get into intoxications to get out of grief. But Arjuna turned his grief into a yoga, a connection with Krishna. So that's what Gajendra did. He turned his pain into a connection with the Lord. And what came out is celebrated through eons. Till now, we are studying and glorifying it. Yes. So I will end here. Thank you all very much. Any discussions or questions?
I have a few questions, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, my first question is, you said that this veil is not is what is covering God. So is this the veil that's covering God, or it's the veil in us, our our anarthas, which is the veil, or God has a veil which we need clarity to then see it.
Yeah. Yes, sure. So I'll get to the reference verse. So this is the prayer of Queen Kunti where she says, Maya Javani Kachannam Ajnadokshajam Avyayam Nalakshate Muda Drisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha. So this veil or the curtain which Queen Kunti is talking about is actually Maya. So Maya is that which is not. So Maya is actually the external energy of Lord Krishna. Yeah. So when Lord Brahma has created this material universe, the third canto of Bhagavatam explains this. He has also created along with this universe different layers of ignorance. Yeah. So why are these layers of ignorance created? There are 5 layers of ignorance. This is given information is given in the third canto. Tamishra, Andha Tamishra, like that. There are 5 layers. They're also named something. So why are these layers of ignorance created? Because the living entity came to this material world with the desire to enjoy separate from Krishna. And if this layer of ignorance is not covering that, this zeal is not fulfilled. So that's one of the unfortunate and original creations of Lord Brahma is this ignorance, 5 layers of ignorance. And why Lord Brahma has created this 5 layers? Because he understands the mission of the Lord. That's why he's a secondary creator on behalf of the Lord. So that layers of ignorance, that Maya, is making the living entity forgetful of Krishna. So that is the wheel. The wheel is Maya, that is created by the external energy of the Lord and also created by the secondary creator, Lord Brahma, to enable the living entity to be forgetful of Krishna. So, and where is this ignorance residing? This ignorance is residing in the subtle coverings. So there's a Jivatma, and the Jivatma has different layers. Yeah. The soul, then there is an ego, then there is Kammano, yeah. There is mind, there is intelligence. This is a subtle body. There's a gross body made of the 5, the Panchatattvas. There's a subtle body made of mind, ego, and intelligence. Yeah. Mana Buddhi Ahankar. So this is residing in the Ahankar, these layers of ignorance. So which makes a person identify with the body, identify with the mind. Yeah. So your question is whether it is created by God or it is the living entity's anarthas. So it is created by God, as Brahma is creating these layers of ignorance to fulfill the purpose of the living entity. And it is residing in the subtle coverings of the living entity. And this is where our chanting of the Mahamantra helps to cleanse these coverings and reconnect with our original self, where we find and realize God. Hope that helps. Hare Krishna. Any other?
Actually, there was, if there is no question, I had written 2 questions. Can I ask, or we don't have time?
Yes, Mataji, we can conclude with that question. Yes.
My question was, uh, when Gajendra said what he said, was this a prayer? Was this prayer a realization, or it came from the mode of surrender? That was one question. And the second one was the difference between speculation and inquiry. Matlab, there is a very thin line whether, like, when we are speculating or whether we are actually inquiring, we will not know that it can come from any. So that was my 2 question, if you can put some light on it. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Your first question is about whether Gajendra's prayers came as a matter of realization or what's the other thing?
Surrender.
Surrender. Yes, it is the process that because of his surrender. And the answer is, it came by the mercy of Krishna.
Perfect.
So his surrender attracted that mercy of Krishna, which made him realize, made him recollect, his past life sadhana and prayers. And it's ultimately the mercy of Krishna. Even if you see Dhruva Maharaj, how he offered prayers, it's by Krishna touching his head with a conch. Prahlad Maharaj, he was a small balak, so he offered his prayers by the mercy and touch of Krishna. As Narsingadev, he just tapped his head with his lotus paw, and that's where beautiful prayers came from him. So the prayers and these beautiful realization, which are very exceptional, we can see that they are coming purely by the touch of Lord Krishna. And once humility and surrender attract that mercy. And your next question is about how do we differentiate between speculation and inquiry. So what differentiates it is the mood. So if our mood is genuine, to truly seek, to understand, with the intention of applying, with the intention of truly growing, with the true intention of having this genuine desire to transform oneself. That's the mood, it's an inquiry. But if it's merely to, mind is such a thing, it can go on speculating for infinitely. And again, the mood is to prove oneself, or if the mood is to have some kind of an intellectual satisfaction. Some people get this rasa, especially in the field of scholarliness and this academia. People get this rasa of
Right.
endless intellectual
Little
speculation.
scary, actually. Yeah.
It just goes on. You see the number of research papers published. It's crazy how much people can just speculate and just go on. And so that's one kind of a rasa they get. But there is no transformation out of it. Yeah. So one of the beautiful quotes, of one of my Guru Maharajas, Krishna consciousness is not about a philosophical debate. It is about transformation of the heart. So speculations lead to philosophical debates and inquiries lead to transformation of the heart.
Such
So
a
I hope
fantastic realization to end this, what you just said. So beautiful, Madhuri. Thank you, Madhuri.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much for
Yes,
attending the
thank-
sessions.